There's a player that was hiding in plain sight for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all along. All it took was just a couple injuries, and all of a sudden he started to ball out. But this isn't the first time we've seen this from him. We've seen it from him even when people were healthy. So I'm going to make the argument that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have found a secret weapon that has been there all the time. It might not be as sexy of a position. It might not look as flashy as what you may see from other like a wide receiver or something like that, but he still is a player that is playing really, really well, and that is Cade Otton at tight end. This is a guy, he's 25 years old. He's in his third year in the league. He's coming out of Washington, was well coached there, at least for his last couple years, and by DeBoer. And I'm telling you right now, this is a guy that can be a solid tight end. He just simply was number 3 or 4 or 5. And now with injuries to Evans and Godwin, which of course aren't good, he now becomes option number 2 or number 1 on almost every single play. And he went out and showed exactly what he can do with those options. All right, he went out and showed exactly what he could do with those options. And I think a lot of us think to ourselves, like, oh, yeah, he had a really good game last week. If you have him in fantasy football, you're like, dude, dominated. No, he was phenomenal the week before, too. All right, he was phenomenal the week before. He just didn't catch any touchdowns. The last 2 weeks, he has 21 targets. And he has turned that into 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. By the way, in those 21 targets, there's a completion percentage, average completion percentage of 81% to him. So in other words, he's not just getting the ball, he's actually getting it at a very, very high rate. And we've seen this from him before. All right? We've seen this from him before, but in just those 2 games, that's the best 2-game stretch that he has had. He had a couple of games last year that he went off against Houston, all right, on November 5th. All right, I'll show it to you. All right, against Houston, he had 9 targets for 6 catches. You can see it right here. Turn that into 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. All right, when he gets targets, he is effective. Look at this 2-game stretch. All right, in November, right here, where he had 4 and 5 targets, he turned it into 9 catches for 99 yards. All right, that's not 99. That's 94. I'm not good at math sometimes. All right, he was effective. But again, it was simply based on game plan. He wasn't a consistent play in fantasy or anything like that. But now that he's getting the opportunity, he's showing how good he truly is. And sometimes that's all it takes. It takes opportunity. And when you have opportunity, you get to show how good of a player you actually are. Here's what we know. Baker Mayfield's going to sling it. He's going to sling it no matter what. Doesn't matter who he's throwing to, he's going to sling it. And what I thought was so exciting for Tampa Bay in their last game, sure, the Falcons won. Sure, the Falcons now have a stranglehold on the division. I know you don't like hearing those things. All right, what was good to see is that Baker Mayfield still Baker Mayfielded. All right, multiple touchdowns, couple interceptions, but he didn't slow down. All right, the offense didn't change in a completely different way just because they were losing their best players. And then you see guys like Raheem Jarrett, like he just gets called up, like he just gets activated from being injured, and all of a sudden 3 catches, 58 yards on 3 targets, by the way. All right, you have Bucky Irving that is playing really well and adding a lot into the receiving game. Rachaad White, between the 2 of those guys. All right, and then Tucker, by the way, too. The running backs had 13 catches. But between Bucky and White, just the 2 of them, look at this. On 13 targets, 12 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. That's impressive. Like, that's good. They just changed the way they went about it. Jalen McMillan took over the lead wide receiver role. Trey Palmer was there. All right, all these guys went in and gave some good quality time. So what you get the opportunity to see now is not just what Cade Otton is. Because when you watch him, tell me if I'm wrong. When I see Cade Otton and I see him catching balls and I see what he can do after the catch, and I see whether he's bringing in a longer pass, shorter pass, whether he's catching and running with it or making up the yardage before the ball even comes to him, I see a guy that can be be a high-level tight end in this league. And that is exciting if you're a Bucs fan because you have aging wide receivers. All right, Mike Evans is old by wide receiver standards. He is. So I don't know. I mean, he probably has another good year. He was proven that he was going to be good again this year, but injuries are going to start piling up, and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, he's been a model of consistency for a decade. But again, it's been for a decade. All right, Godwin, very good wide receiver, going to the slot, absolutely helped him. Don't know what that's going to look like. What is the opportunity going to be going forward? So what you're looking for now are guys like Cade Otton. Can he be a pillar going forward for this team as a tight end? Can Jalen McMillan show that, you know what, maybe I was actually the best or the second best wide receiver coming out of Washington? A lot of Washington Huskies on this offense, huh? All right, or a lot of Pac-10 players at least. All right, may the Pac-10 rest in peace. Can Jalen McMillan be that focal point? As these receivers start to age out, can you get younger and less expensive and spend money in other areas? Can Baker Mayfield still do it? I think the Bucs have a really good opportunity. You're still not in this phenomenal division. You're not. All right? Look, I get the Falcons are playing well. I get that. And yes, you have the Chiefs coming up. And then you are at home against the 49ers, who are beatable this year. They are. And then after that, look at this. Look at how you end the season. Giants, Panthers, Raiders. Do those sound like winnable games? You go to LA, still trying to figure out who they are. All right, good defensive team, but not world beaters. You go to the Cowboys, and then you end Panthers Saints. That is, I'm telling you, as is. Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Panthers, Saints. That's 5 more wins. That's 9. That's 9 right there. And then can you get a win or two between the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Chargers, and the Cowboys? And if you can win 2 of those games, all of a sudden you're an 11-6 team. And it's a playoff team at 11-6. It's there. And hopefully by that time, Mike Evans is back healthy. Jalen McMillan has developed to a point that you want him to develop. As a rookie, he's going to have to grow up fast now. And Cade Otton becomes that other big advantage. So instead of looking Evans, and instead of just looking Evans, Godwin, and the running backs, it's a little bit of Evans, a little bit of McMillan, a little bit of Otton, and the running backs. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to have 5 different weapons that you could go to anywhere. Baker Mayfield's going to love that. And you know the dude's going to sling it. So I'm telling you, it's very interesting. It's the NFL. Anything can happen any given Sunday. But there are still the pieces on this team. Don't give up on this team. Keep cheering, keep rooting, because Baker's better than any of us thought he would be. The offense is still looking good, even after they have to get a new offensive coordinator. All right, which means Baker, his career resurgent wasn't just because of his OC. He's OC, not OC proof yet, but he's proving that it's because Baker's good. Because Baker is good. And so this team has a good chance because Baker's on a bargain contract for how he's playing for a quarterback. He absolutely is. You got him for another couple years. These young guys are going to have a chance to develop, and you're not playing in a division that has a bunch of world beaters in it. You're just not. All right. Thanks for watching. All right. Keep up with the Bucs. If you like what we're doing, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you want more Bucs content, but mostly just teams that, you know what, the national media doesn't pay a ton of attention to. We're Lions fans. We don't make, we don't act like we're not. We love the Lions. And, hey, we're just here having fun talking football. Hopefully it's a good non-biased view of your team. Thanks for watching. See you.